The journey of pregnancy loss and motherhood is complex, deeply personal, and often overlooked in mainstream conversations. In today's episode, we are visiting with Vallen Webb, host of the Pregnancy Loss and Motherhood podcast, where we'll dive into stories, challenges, and the hopes that arise when navigating loss.
If ever your life could be a true crime podcast episode, then this podcast is for you. We're about to embark on a roller coaster of emotions, insights, survival, and stories about escape. So buckle up and let the journey begin.
Welcome, Vallen. We're so glad that you could join us.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Back to the Escape Pod. So we're gonna initiate you into the Escape Artist group. So one of the things we always start with is what are you escaping this week?
This week,
Yeah.
2 of my 4 children.
Oh,
I'll come up with something better, but yes, I'm going to my best friend's wedding. We're leaving tonight, and my little boys are going to be with my husband. So it'll be like the first time I'm alone with my older girls who are 11 and 10. So it's like a girls' weekend.
Yeah. Nice.
On the more serious side of things, I don't know. I'm escaping emotions this weekend. Like I don't know. Today I ended with a client who I've been with, like a postpartum doula. So like I ended with a client that I've been with for like 3 months, and it's like a bittersweet thing. I've helped her like navigate motherhood, and but it was like, I don't know, this may be terrible to say, but I felt like it meant more to me than her. So I was like,
oh wow, yeah.
Of like when I was leaving, like it was just kind of like, oh yeah, see ya. But we've spent so much time together, and it was like they're like my favorite family, one of my very favorite families. So I was just kind of like, but then I have to be like, Vallen, that doesn't mean that's how she feels. Like she's still going through stuff. She's still dealing with anxiety. Like she's probably, and she finally found her nanny today. So it was like, just everything was fine. Yeah. But yeah, I'm escaping dealing with my emotions. I don't want to fucking do it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. What are you escaping, KB?
Oh gosh. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. My brain?
My brain is kind of like tapped out. I guess you know what I'm escaping? I'm escaping being tired lately. Like I'm tired of being tired, I guess. We've been super busy, and even on like during the day when I'm normally fine, I'm finding myself going, I could just take a nap. Mm-hmm. And it always comes in places where it's like, I absolutely cannot take a nap right now. Like right now, I can't take a nap. But also it's like, why am I so tired? And I keep questioning that. Is something wrong with me? Blah, blah, blah. When really it's because we've been super duper busy, and our job is stressful. We've got a lot going on. There's been a lot. We've just been busy.
Well, our jobs are stressful when things are going smoothly.
Yeah.
And then we've had a lot of hits lately. But so since I think most of our listeners are women, mm-hmm. I'm going to go ahead and go for it, because what I'm escaping today is frickin' perimenopause.
Yeah.
Like, I tell you what, I don't know how I am walking, because I don't even know how it's biologically possible to have like 3 freaking full periods every month.
Oh yeah.
So instead of like, scaling down, it's like going, hello, here.
I'm just going to really give it to you full force.
I'm just like, where the fuck's it coming from? Like, I cannot do this anymore. So literally, if anyone would have been walking past the bathroom over by my office 2 days ago, I went, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh,
like I just wanted to pee, and I just can't do it anymore.
You're like, I'm done.
I'm just done. Anyway, that's what I'm escaping. It's like, just bring on menopause, please. God help me. Yeah. Because and the thing is, it's no symptoms. And normally,
just out of nowhere,
regular cycle. Yeah, I know exactly like when I'm going to start things, when the party's going to get going. And now it's just like, hello,
surprise,
freaking had it. So that's what I'm escaping. Well, thank you for taking the time. For our escape artist, just so you know, Vallen reached out to us a few months ago, and we've done a spot on her show. And so now it's time to return the favor.
Yeah.
And so we just wanted to get to know you a little bit better and kind of find out, like, tell us about your podcast and what inspired you to create a space for those types of conversations that you have on your show.
Yeah. I actually just recorded an episode on Wednesday. What was that? Yesterday. And we were talking about stories and storytelling and how it heals and how it helps that healing journey, just from any type of loss, not necessarily pregnancy loss. But my podcast came about because my third daughter, Evelyn, was stillborn at 40 weeks and 5 days. And I like this experience, it was happening to me, and there's nothing I could do to change the outcome or stop it. Or I didn't even, I mean, I went home. Once you leave the hospital, that's it. There's nothing, any type of support that I would have needed at that time. I had to find myself. And I had no one to talk to. I'm like, what the hell do I do with this? Like, who am I supposed to talk to about this really sad thing that everybody avoids? Like, before I had a stillbirth, I avoided these conversations, like, because I've never experienced it. I don't know what to say. I don't, like, it doesn't affect me. I'm not going to talk about it. That sounds shitty, but that's what a lot of us do. Like, we haven't experienced it. We can't really fully participate, I feel like, in conversations around that certain thing. So me, I'm just like, I don't know what to do. So I started journaling, and journaling was my escape. Journaling, like, I don't know, an escape from my body and my brain, maybe, just like journaling my story every day after the loss of like how I was feeling, what happened that day, like having to go to the funeral home, them telling me to come sign papers. And I was actually, they wanted me to come pick up her ashes, and nobody warned me that was going to happen. Just all these weird things that happen when somebody dies, like, especially a baby. It's different from when an adult dies, right? And so I just had nowhere to go. And so then I had already started my journey of becoming a postpartum and bereavement doula before Evelyn died. And so I just continued on that path because that's where I wanted to be, was helping moms and families through this. And not just loss, but motherhood. Motherhood is fucking devastating. Like, the initial, like, commencement into motherhood, I mean, there's so much there that just we hold in our bodies the rest of our life. Like, we haven't talked about it. We don't know that it's like a thing. I don't know. It's such a big thing. So I, started with training and educating people on pregnancy and infant loss. And then it turned into my podcast in 2022. So we're getting on my, what would be that? What is the year? 2025.
So 3 years.
So, this will be my third year. And I just really started talking about anything. I mean, I felt stupid at times because I'm like, I don't know if this is a thing. Like, I just recorded an episode on, like, opening up the urn and, like, looking at the ashes of your baby. Like, we don't talk about this. Like, that's creepy. That's scary. That's weird. Like, those are the thoughts that come up when I don't know, maybe people who haven't experienced any type of loss or grief,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I follow, I don't know if you guys follow or heard of Lauren the Mortician on Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she's incredible. So she is a mortician, obviously, and it's like a family run business. And she's like the opposite of what you would think a mortician looks like, right? She's blonde and pink hair, and just vibrant. And she, like, walks through everything that might happen after somebody dies, from, like, bringing them into the funeral parlor and, like, cremating and, like, all the metal pieces, like, they find in these bodies that come out, and then they have to, like, it's amazing. And she, like, did this reel. Look at it, you will probably love it. And she did this reel by in answering somebody's comment about, like, her baby was just stillborn. And, she feels like I don't want to mince words. What did she say? She's like, damn it. I don't know. She feel like she erased him. Those were her words. She feels like she erased him because she had him cremated. And so Lauren got on and like did a thing about it. And I reposted it. I'm like, this is so important. Thank you. And then she reposted my repost and I was like, I love her. But the conversations I think are more, I don't know, they're happening more now. They're happening in places than we think. And so, yeah, my podcast came out of all of these experiences, and, pregnancy loss and motherhood, because whether or not you bring home a baby, you're a mother. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
Of course, people who may not feel that way, and that's okay too. So yeah, that is.
Well, I think it's amazing that you were able to take something that was already, a passion of yours, but then to go through the experience yourself and that trauma and that loss that comes with losing a child. And, you found a way to not only put an outlet out there for yourself, but to also really walk alongside people and help them in their journeys as well. And I just think that's really beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Vallen, what do you think some of the most common misconceptions are about, like, if you've not been through it and you have a friend or a family member that's going through that, like, what do you think those misconceptions are about that type of loss and the grieving process, and why do we not talk about it?
Yeah. I think one of the biggest misconceptions is like we wouldn't want to talk about it because it's so sad, because it's so hard. And there's both sides. Like I can absolutely, like I felt that way before when somebody I knew was experiencing something. I was like, I don't want to hurt them anymore. I don't want to, bring this up if they don't want to do it. But at the same time, when we don't at least give them the avenue or the opportunity to let us know whether they want to talk about it or not, it shuts them down. For me personally, this happened with my dad. He's like this. He has a hero complex, and he thinks he can save everybody. And his way of dealing with it is, one, not talking about it. But the reason he doesn't talk about it is because I would say, I think a month before Evelyn was born, I told him and my mom that I didn't want them there initially. Like, I just wanted it to be me and my girls. Like, it was a whole thing. I was so excited to be a girl mom. Like, I just wanted it to be us. And of course, this happens. And he feels that if he would have been there, he could have saved her, or he could have saved me.
Wow.
He could
Yes.
have done something like that, right? And I mean, he took that upon himself. Like, nobody, made him feel that way. But because of that, like, I can't even talk to my dad about it. Like, anytime I bring it up, it's like he walks out of the room or he changes direction. And, I told him, I'm like, Dad, it really hurts me when you shut this down every single time. Like, I want to talk about this with you. Like, and he just like, I just can't. He's just like broken from it. But our family, like these women and even the husbands and grandparents and siblings, like they all need to talk about it if they're ready, right? This is one of the other things I talked about the other night, was like sharing our stories. Some people may not be ready to do that. But if they are, we need to give them the opportunity. And that literally just looks like sitting there. You don't have to say anything. You can just sit there and you can like watch TV with them, or, let them talk and talk and talk, but we don't have to say anything for them to be like, okay, they're here, they're hearing me, they're witnessing my pain. That's like the biggest thing that we need. We need somebody to see us in pain. Like, we need a witness to be like, okay, it's real. I'm here. They're supporting me. That's great.
Are you looking for an early morning boost or that midday pick-me-up? Check out the Homebrew Coffee Shop, a coffee shop with a cause on the One Heart campus. At Homebrew, you'll find hope for a home in every cup. It's home to delicious coffee, sweet treats, breakfast, and lunch items. It's a great place to meet friends or host small group meetings. Homebrew is located at 201 Kansas City Street in Rapid City, open Monday through Friday from 6:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. We'll see you there.
Another misconception. What would another misconception be? I did a podcast on this one. And that was like the misconception of us being attention seekers. So like people who have losses or anybody like this is, I don't hear this at all, but there are other people like trolls, those people that just
Right.
other people can. But even people like me, I felt too, and it might have been more of the fact that I felt this was like I didn't want people to think like I was looking for attention. I didn't want people to think like I needed pity or sympathy. And I felt like when I talked about it, that's what I was doing initially. But that's like conditioning, right? From our culture, from
Yes.
other things. So yeah, we definitely are not seeking attention. We just want to remember our children. We want our children to not be forgotten, a few weeks after they died. Like, cause that's what happens. We go home, we have amazing people who support us, but after a while people do have to get back to their own life. And we have to keep going, whether or not we want to or not. So just that misconception, I think, or thinking that, oh, she keeps posting about this. It's so annoying. Like she just wants us to say something. She just wants us to like feel sorry for her, like things like that. What else?
I don't know, that flip side is just how, some people just need to process to another human being. Like, I'll do that even with staff or my husband. Like, I don't want a response. I just want to think out loud and have you hear me
Yeah.
and just blah, 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 whatever that is. And some people do that with an individual. Some people do that in a support group. Some people do that on social media or whatever platforms they're comfortable with. And it's, or like you were journaling, it's that way to get those thoughts out and kind of and process them.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important, and not, we just need to stop judging people. Just stop judging people. They're going through their stuff, support them. And you know what? If whatever they're posting makes you uncomfortable or irritated or whatever, don't look at it.
Yeah.
I
Move
mean,
on.
you're clearly not their support person. So go away.
Yeah. Well, and I do think, like you said, we live in a world, whether it's talking about loss or whatever we're going through, like our society, just like we give so much praise to being like overly busy and then rest is lazy. It's the same thing with like grief and loss or having a bad day. So like if I'm passing you in the hall or wherever I'm at and I'm like, hey, how are you? Our society has taught us to just hurry up and say, good, how are you? And the other person's supposed to say good and then move on. If you say, I'm having a really rough day, and you want to talk because they asked you, how are you? But most often it's not like a genuine conversation.
It's
they just want to hear good and keep going, right? More often than not. And I feel like even in some of these scenarios, it's like, how can you say, I'm having a good day? And sometimes it may be 2 weeks after, something traumatic has happened. Sometimes it might be 2 years. You're allowed to have bad days.
Absolutely.
And you should have people in your life that are willing to stop and listen to your bad days, just as much as they're going to share their wins with you. So
yeah, absolutely. That's another misconception, is that there's a time frame on our grief, right?
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like so me and my husband, after Evelyn died, he was on deployment at the time. He came home and then he went back on deployment and he ended up having an affair and then tried committing suicide. And during this process, forgot. I'm back though. We started marriage therapy after he got back from deployment. And the first thing my therapist asked us, he said, how long do you think this is going to take you to heal from? And like in my mind, my conditioned mind, there's a reason for this. So I said a year. That's my thought. My child dies, my husband, commits adultery and tries to die. it's going to be a year. That's all. It sounds like a long time, but it is not. But the reason he asked that was so that at a year from now, I could really see what that time frame meant. And for me, it was so powerful. Like, I didn't take it as, anything negative from him. It just made me think, and it's stuck with me ever since. So like when this happened, I mean, marriage therapy was after it, but after we had that, I'm like, oh, I'll feel better in like 2 years, maybe her third birthday, something like that. It's like we need a tangible number so that we can, I don't know. I think it just makes us feel better when we can put a
Something to
name.
look forward to, right? That there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that it's not going to feel as heavy as it does right now, but then you have to give yourself the grace if that is not the case.
Exactly. And I think that's the scariest thing in the world, is to know that it's never going to go away.
Yeah.
It changes. I mean, you guys have lived life, that grief, it shifts and it changes. And I don't know, like 2 years down the road, it could be okay. And then 4 years down, it could be absolutely terrible, like even worse. When you think like as the farther out you go, it should get better and better and better. That's not how it works. And my thought with that too, a short story, is me and John went to a support group after Evelyn died. We're like, okay, we'll try this. We'll see how it goes. Well, the support group was in a hospital, which is like the worst fucking thing.
Oh, yeah. No.
Like, it wasn't the same hospital that she had died in, but after, like, hospitals after that are just no bueno. And not everybody is like, a lot of them are religious, typically, that happen in hospitals, is what I noticed. And so anyways, we were the only couple to go to this, and the facilitator, she was an old woman, like 60, 70. And not that that matters so much, but the fact that it was my first time dealing with this, and the fact that she shared with us that her loss was like 40 years ago, and she was sobbing and not okay, broke me.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh my God. So it was like, that was like my first, what do you call when you like get inducted into something? Like it's like your first, I don't know.
Yeah, you're inducted into
it. You're initiated into the
initiated, right? It's like my initiation into like this forever grief that's never going to go away. And I left that feeling even worse. Like, shit, this is not going to get better. Never going back.
right.
So timelines are just a facade when it comes to life. It's just smoke and mirrors. There's nothing you can do to make it better. No amount of time is going to make it better. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think I would feel that way though, if it was my spouse or somebody else that I love dearly, like how can it be better?
Time is just a construct anyway. We made it up. So again, I totally agree with you. There's no timeline, but I will also agree with you that idea of like, a spouse versus a child. I have not lost a child, but I think I shared with you about my husband being shot. Okay. That was obviously hard, but it was my husband. What really killed me during that event, and like I'd run home, take a shower for like an hour every day, come back home or come back to the hospital. I would have to walk by the room of one of the officers who was on life support and see his mom by his bedside. And just, that's what to this day just freaking killed me. And then my husband's on morphine and he wants me to go talk to Nick. And, they both were very, very funny, had great senses of humor. And so Tim would say, you need to go give this message to Nick. And I'm like, okay, I mean, how can I tell him no? He's just been shot in the head. I'm going to go do it. And then just having to walk in there and talk to him and feel, I'm so empathic. I feel other people's stuff, and to feel what that mother was going through. I'll just never forget that, like ever. So I don't even know I don't even know how. Have you seen, I think too about that episode and how officers grieved in different ways. Do you find that mothers grieve in different ways? Like, is there a lot of consistencies, or do you see some dynamics that kind of have surprised you or were different from your own journey?
Yeah. There's a lot of commonalities, the mourning, the outward expressions of grief, crying and yelling. And there's like this, like the initial moments in the hospital, there's like this guttural sob that comes out of you that you've never experienced in your entire life. And I've never experienced it since. It was the only time in my life. And it's something I could not control. And I don't know where it came from. And, like pleading with God to like give her back. Like, how can, like 10 hours ago, she was alive.
Right.
What kind of fucking God lets babies die or decide, and this is the other part of that is like religion, right? What happens to people when these things happen. But I tend to see moms similarly grieving, whereas the mom and the husband or spouse is different. But there are women who are very compartmentalized, or that is how they have to survive. So, they do. I mean, women, not our generation, but past, like our parents and their parents, they're like the way they had to deal with this type of loss is by never talking about it.
Right.
It was so much shame, so much, just blame on the mothers for like their baby dying, that it could never be discussed. It wouldn't be nothing. Now I think women are more, I don't know, more comfortable with showing their grief and their mourning, like the things that they do, the way they celebrate. Dads tend to be more introverted when it comes to their grief, right? They're supposed to be the stoic pillar of support, taking care of everybody else, and nobody supports them. And that's not fair to say. Maybe, we do love our dads. We do try to support them too, but it's not to the extent of the mother, which is fair. But dads tend to fill that role that our culture has created for them. Don't cry, suck it up, do this. And then you have this dynamic where this happened with me and John. He wasn't grieving like me. And I'm like, why the hell are you not crying about this? Why are you not like so angry about this? Why are you just like, he would not look me in the eye. Like he wouldn't touch me. Like as soon as he got home from the hospital, he was just like blank. To his, to his point though, he didn't get to see her. He didn't get to hold her.
Oh.
Like I didn't know that I could even ask the funeral home to be like, can you just, keep her body for a few more days until my husband comes home? Nobody offered that to me. So for him, she wasn't like a tangible thing. Like he didn't get to have that experience with her, even if she was dead. Like he didn't get to hold her or see her, anything. So I feel like for him, it was a very just, I don't know, like.
Well, there's a disconnect almost.
There was a disconnect, definitely.
Yeah.
So like I'm thinking that something is wrong because I'm like, who doesn't grieve like me? But we've never experienced grief like this ever in our entire life like this.
Right.
The only thing when I grew up, I was taught to shut up, like go upstairs and cry, like no emotions, like, this is just life. Like it sucks. Get over it. People die, like things like that, like just invalidating, minimizing. Like we did not get to explore like grief or talk about it or talk about bad things. So this was a really terrible experience to have to like start, my grief journey even, so yeah, there is a lot of differences and there has to be more support around that. Just like remembering that dads are grieving, but they have the ability, I don't know, there's something about men, but that's, they're our opposite. They can shut that down. They can just do. Maybe not all men are like that, but like they just do what has to be done. And it's a sad thing to me too, because I don't know. I want them to be able to grieve as well, but yeah.
So how did all of this impact your other children? Like, and to this day, is Evelyn part of the family conversation, or like how does that look?
Yeah. So at the time, my daughters were 4 and 3, I think, or 5 and 4. I don't remember. And one of my friends had them like overnight, like, oh, I'm gonna have the baby, come get them. And that was probably one of the worst experiences, other than Evelyn dying and having to call my husband. Callie, my oldest, was so excited. So excited. She was ready to be another big sister, or big sister to another little sister. And so I went home that night I had Evelyn. I could not stay at the hospital. So I went home like 6 hours later. I was like, I'm out of here. Like, no, I don't want to be here. And so I went home. I spent the night by myself. And the next day my friend brought her over, and my friend brought them back home. And, they come in the door like, Mom, where's the baby? Where's Evelyn? And it's like, well, Evelyn died. Like, one thing that I know about children is that they know. They are intuitive, little empathic creatures that just know something is wrong. And also with children, I learned is like I had to go on Google and like download a PDF on like how to talk to your preschooler about death. Like I actually have it on my desk. Violet's like, what is this? A few days ago, I'm like, actually, that's when Evelyn died, and I had to like learn how to talk to you about this. But it's like I just sat on the couch with them, and they asked me questions. Children are gonna ask questions, and it's just best to be direct. Like, I learned that saying that they're sleeping or that they're in heaven. What kids do. Oh, can we go? Can we go visit her in heaven? Can we go? Right? They don't understand, and Violet definitely could not understand. She was 3 or 4. So we talked about just like about the placenta. The easiest way I could explain it, because it's like, why did she die? Why? How did that happen? And it's like, well, the placenta, which keeps her alive, it fell off my tummy, and she died because she didn't have it to support her. Like, very simple language that I had to use. And it's just like my 3 or 4-year-old was just kind of like, goes on to play. And then the older one is just really sad because I'm sad. She is like my little mirror. And yeah, to this day, we celebrate Evelyn every year. My entire company is based on Evelyn James. That's her name. We do things in her honor. We, there's like remembrance walks and candle, like it's October. It's Infant Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. So this month is filled with celebrations and honoring and just making sure that she's not forgotten, because I have to hold that and I want everybody to remember her. So our families do not celebrate with us. They do not mention her. They don't talk about her. They don't, they just can't, I guess. I don't know. But we do, and our friends do. Yeah. She's involved in every part of our life. Her urn is on my desk, probably in the bedroom, but like she's always floating around.
Yeah.
Even my 5-year-old and my 2-year-old now, because I ended up having, 2 babies after her. So 2 little rainbows. And, they'll just carry her urn around, throw her down the stairs while they're, sliding down the stairs. Like, it's just like, it's so funny. And if they would have done that like initially after she died, I probably would have had a stroke. But now it's like, no, like it's, they carry her around, and they like we take her on trips when we go somewhere. Like she comes with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's really special that you've given them the opportunity to not follow the normal societal standards of hush hush, we don't talk about this, we don't want to, you've I think we do that, so not intentionally. For the most part, we
Yeah.
don't intentionally do this to our kids, but that you've been able to break that pattern for them and help them, like, loss is part of life, and normalize this and still honor and respect it, because not saying anything is that, I think that's more akin to erasing somebody, when
Yeah.
you know
Mm-hmm.
like, you just don't talk about it. And I understand everybody processes and grieves differently, but I also think you're right with the expectations of propriety, and we just can't ruffle any feathers, and
Mm-hmm.
it shows weakness, or whatever the case is. Everybody's got their belief system, but I think that's a really, really beautiful thing what you've done.
Thank you. Yeah. And I mean, they taught me, like they untrained me, because it was anytime we would go anywhere. I'm not even kidding. They still do it to this day. If somebody asks about, oh, how many kids do you have? And I say 4, because I don't want to spend the energy of talking to a stranger about my dead child. Mom, you forgot Evelyn again. Like, they don't understand why I purposely don't tell random strangers and
Right.
people about her, right? But they are always there in the back behind me, like, Mom, you forgot Evelyn again. It's 5. You got 5 kids. Like, they correct me everywhere, and they've been doing it since the day that she died.
Mm.
Anybody asks. So it was like, and every time they would do it in the beginning, I would be like, no, we're not doing that. I don't want to talk about this right now. And it wasn't necessarily even because I was uncomfortable. It's because I was so exhausted from it. It becomes a point where you have to pick and choose who you tell, and like
Absolutely.
who deserves to hear your story. Like if they're a stranger, it doesn't matter. Like, and there's a part of you in the beginning too. Like if you don't tell somebody, you're like, God, I'm so, you feel guilt for not doing it. But then you get in your grief journey and you're like, nope, no, no, they don't deserve my energy. And it's not being mean. It's just the fact that they're not your life. And so telling a stranger about it doesn't matter. But children they're gonna point it out. They are gonna correct you. They are gonna be like, hello, you're forgetting your third daughter. Like, but yeah, I think I don't know, they just gave me the courage to be able to be open about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because adults don't correct children, or, you know, I mean, they do, but when a child says, like, I have a dead sister,
Right.
some people may be like, that's so sad.
I don't
Some
know what
people,
to say. Yeah.
but adults are more likely to shut down another adult saying that type of thing than a child. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, really? Like, they get more curious than they are like critical and judgmental, or like, nope, can't handle this. That's what I've noticed, especially with my girls always bringing it up. So yeah, it's just, children are amazing. I think I was really lucky that I had 2 before I lost one.
Oh, sure.
Like, they are the literal reason I was able to survive, because I wanted to die. I didn't want to be here anymore. Like, how do you live in a world without one of your children?
Right.
How do you do that?
I don't know. I
So,
ask that question a lot. I mean, just because of my mom being who she is, like, I could not imagine not having my daughter or my son
Yeah.
in my life. And
yeah.
my mom's just fine with it. So it's just, I don't know. I think some people just are
Wired differently, I guess.
wired differently. Yeah. But, so to the podcast itself, Vallen, what have you found to be like the most rewarding, or even maybe the most difficult part of doing that? Because you're like opening your personal wounds like all the time, every time you're doing the show. Like, so what's that journey looked like for you?
Exhaustion. What happened, like, well, one, I meet so many amazing people from the guests of my show. It's been like the one thing that has kept me going. And every time I do an episode, period, it's just processing. I'm literally, whatever I decide to talk about that day, whatever comes up in me that like feels like it needs to be talked about in that moment. I'm like yawning. Like I'm yawning the entire time. And that's one of the trauma responses for grief or loss, is yawning. You're like processing, your body is exhausted. You're like, so I get a lot of that. And I have to like edit all this fucking yawning out. Even when I'm just like so engaged and like not sleepy, I'm yawning and I'm just like, this has got to stop. But no, I think I just get to process my stories differently. I get, as time goes on, you hold things differently. You feel differently about things that happen to you during these things. You change. I notice I've changed the way that I view my loss. I changed the way that I view grief. One of the, like an example would be like initially when Evelyn died, anybody, it wasn't people saying silver lining things to me. It was like hearing it on like like not music, podcasts, reading it in blogs, like lost blogs and all this stuff of people who are farther down in their journeys. It was like, shut up. There's literally nothing that can come, like nothing good can come of this. Like there is no reason a newborn had to die for me to do anything. Like why couldn't there be a different way, right? But now that I am 6 years out from that, I don't like to call them silver linings, but there is good that came from it. And I don't know if I would have ever been the type of person to do what I'm doing now. I was a very like, I don't know. I grew up with a mom who was terrible. So, I had to kill that relationship 2 months before Evelyn was born.
I don't know if it was this, but I was thinking back to, I was supposed to be in a different city today, or wait, yesterday doing a training for probation officers. And I do this with my husband. We go and we talk about like, because probation officers are going into people's homes and they don't have any kind of protection against, a mental break, violence, whatever. And so we just try to equip them with things they can understand and, try to make them as safe as possible. And, of course, we use the shooting as like that particular episode, you couldn't predict what was going to happen. It was like a normal kind of call. There wasn't any, oh, this one, it's going to go down, right? Not at all. And so we use that kind of as that point. But see, now I'm doing it, Vallen. I don't know what my point was. It is that like this is just the week. I was supposed to be there and now I'm here and now my brain doesn't work anymore. So what the hell? I'm just so tired.
I see what I mean. I'm escaping being tired. I am
losing it.
Yeah, it's just life gets hard. Yeah. And when our
point. Oh, I got it. Okay, I found it. I found it. Okay.
No. Yay.
That, he always gets asked about PTSD. And he's like, he never had it. And then for a while, he thought he was broken because he didn't have it. Like, am I going to have this heartbreak? Oh, he's a baby.
Our puppy.
Puppy. Have a major break later. But what it really was that it was so visible and it impacted the whole community. And so he was out talking to people all the time. He's being interviewed. He's, he's kind of a local celebrity. And so he's talked it through for now 13, 14 years. And so I think, just the more you talk about it, I don't know, a few years ago, he got me to start doing this with him and telling the story from my perspective. Yeah. Some days I can do it and it's fine. And other days I just bawl through the whole thing. Like, so it's, I didn't listen to like the 911 call for 11 or 12 years. I just finally heard it. I was just like, nope, I don't need to hear that. I don't need to hear what it sounded like when his jaw was completely shattered and, he couldn't, I don't know. But now I've heard it, and I think I made it up in my mind to be so much worse than it was. Bad, don't get me wrong.
I'm
But
sure.
I think I embellish things like, that, it's really going to be horrible. And it prepared me. So finally I'm in this training, and usually I would leave when he'd play this recording for not probation officers necessarily, but like new recruits in the police force. And I would walk out of the room, and then they'd give me the all clear to come back in. And I finally just went, all right, let me try this. And I mean, it still sucks, but I just wonder, with the journey that you're on with your podcast and working through that with people who understand what that's like, if that isn't cathartic as well, like that you're going to get to that point to where it's still always going to mean something to you, but that it's not such a gut-wrenching, when you're recalling exactly what happened. I mean,
Yeah, it's healing. It is cathartic. I don't know. And again, with grief, it's like I could be totally fine sharing that now. Like there are days when it is fine. And then I've noticed like a few days like into my training when I'm training doulas and nurses and therapists, it's like I break down for a minute. Like it's like, why now? Like why is this coming up now? It's just yeah. But it is healing. It suppressing kills us. It kills our bodies. Like it
yeah,
hurts us.
it does.
So
Well, thank you, Vallen, for being so willing. Thank you for reaching out to us. I'm just so honored that you did. I'm glad we made the connection. I hope we can stay in touch.
Are you ready to re-enter the workforce or find a career that actually fits? Or maybe you're an employer tired of noisy platforms that miss the mark? Try Focus, a smarter hiring tool that helps you cut through the noise and focus on what matters. Visit focus.work today. That's FOQUS.WORK.
One of the things we like to do when we close out our show is talk about what we're going to escape to. So something we're looking forward to in the near future. So do you have anything that fits that? With your sweet little puppy. Oh.
I am escaping to a better future. Period. Like
Good.
I just also started grad school to become a mental health counselor so I can do my counseling with, having that credibility and be able to like help diagnose and do all these things. So moving towards, that life.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'll be more.
How about you, KB?
I'm just escaping to time with family, I think. My girls are at the age where they're both in sports, and we've got sports stuff this weekend and birthday parties that we get to go to and all that jazz. So yeah, busy. But yeah, that's the gist. It's fun stuff. How about you? What are you escaping to?
I am going to do my damnedest tomorrow to take some of the day off. I have a webinar I've got to do for a grant. Other than that, I'm not going to be here.
Yeah.
Everything's packed up. I'm going to get done with this, go do a tour, and then go do another meeting at the School of Mines, and
Rally.
then go home and probably go unconscious or bleed to death, depending on. But just looking forward to not. I have spent so many hours at my desk in the last few weeks. Like it's not healthy. It's necessary because of by virtue of circumstances, but it is not healthy.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking forward to. As much as I love this place and am, married to it, I need a break.
Yeah.
I need a break. So awesome. Well, thank you so much, Vallen.
Thank you.
And thank you everybody for tuning in. We truly and sincerely can't talk, but we sincerely appreciate each and every one of you. I know this can be a difficult topic. We have shared with our guests the link to your show, Vallen, if anyone is needing that type of support. And so for any of our escape artists who are listening, please share this episode with a friend who you think might appreciate it or might need to hear this message, or connect with others who are going through that particular very painful journey. And just remember, this is a podcast for a cause. Your contributions, your listening, your patronage can really make a difference for real people actively trying to escape the crisis of poverty and all the horrible things in the world. If you would be so kind, please leave a 5-star review. It would mean a lot to us, and it just helps us broaden our reach. And then Vallen's word is getting out there even more. If you want to send a thought or an idea for a topic in the future, please you can send those in to justbecause@escapepod.live. You can connect with us on our socials at escapepod.live, or send in your personal stories of escape at escapeartist@escapepod.live.
Well, that's a wrap on this episode of the Escape Pod. Remember, trauma may be inevitable, but how you grapple with it is optional. So stay resilient.
And keep finding amazing people to support you on your journey.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Vallen.
Yes, thank you, Vallen.
Thank you.